Hello everybody, we are now in Oostende for the classical boat show event, the Oostende voor Anker. And I'm here with the owner of Prunella. Hello sir, how are you?
Hello, my name is Stefaan. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. I heard
you.
that you are arriving from London.
Yes, we did. We crossed actually from Norfolk, more exactly.
Okay.
We left Lowestoft Saturday morning, 4 o'clock in the morning. We had a fantastic sunrise at 5 o'clock, and 7 o'clock in the evening we called into the port in Oostende here.
All right, that sounds gorgeous indeed. So you, the owner of Prunella, can you tell us about the history of your boat?
Prunella was built in 1938 as a private yacht, for a gentleman's yacht for a private owner, Mr. Muirhead, and he had her in his possession for 40 years with a private skipper living on board Prunella for 40 years. She was mostly kept at a swing mooring in Brightling Sea in his private possession, except during the war. She was commissioned during the war. She was sent up to Scapa Flow in the north of Scotland, where she was used for recovering torpedo shells after practice firing torpedoes, which is why she was given 2 reinforced military davits. These are not the original davits, as you will see later on. They are reinforced for the weight of the torpedoes. So she was in the war for 5 years. So she was commissioned, and then after Scapa Flow she came down to the east coast again. She had a gun mounted on her front, and then she was used as a gunboat on the east coast before she was returned to her owner after serving 5 years in the war. She was not in Dunkirk in 1940, so far that we can tell. We are still trying to find her signals via the Ministry of Defence, but so far we cannot show that she was in Dunkirk in 1940. She would, however, have been an ideal vessel for it, but she was too far away from what we know now, that she was up in the north of Scotland. But we were in the film Dunkirk, so in 2016. As a matter of fact, 3 days before we officially owned Prunella, we had already committed to being in the film. So we took possession of Prunella in Norfolk, in Norwich, and worked on her for 2-3 days just to at least get the engines, give the engines a service, oil change, and we took a totally unknown vessel, to us at least, straight across the channel to go and participate in the film Dunkirk, which was a fantastic experience.
Yes, I can believe
we
it.
were 4 days in Dunkirk, and a lot of it is on our website as well, which is www.prunella.info. And then we took her back to England, and then we worked on her for pretty much about 5 years. And it's only the first season really that we are going to make full use of her, going around and showing her and just having fun, just taking her where we feel like taking her and being on her board wherever she is.
So it was an unknown boat for you, and I guess you had to make a lot of restoration and work on it. What did you do? What was absolutely to be done?
She was in a terrible state when we bought her. The previous owners lived on her as a liveaboard for 18 years. I think they took her out about twice in these 18 years. So the engines never run really. She wasn't looked after properly. So she was in a terrible state. We did not change anything structurally to her though. So the design and layout is exactly the way she was. And also the wood. There's only 2 panels that we changed because there was rot, and these are the panels, as you will see later on, between the saloon and the wheelhouse, either side of the steps. We had to change those. And in the rear cabin, the previous owners had put in a huge double bed across from starboard to port, and it was a horrible sight. So that the aft cabin is probably where we did most of the work. So we had to rip all that out. We looked at the original plans and we put it back exactly how she was originally built. We have the original plans on board, so we use that as our basis. Also for the sail plan, for the mast and the sails, we use the original sail plan to get the mast and the sails exactly how she was originally built.
What kind of engine does she run?
She has 2 Thornycroft engines, original Thornycroft engines, although they may have been replaced after the war, that we're not entirely certain of. They may be original from 1938, or they may be from shortly after the war. Before a lot of these vessels, before they were returned to their owners, they would have been given new engines as a thank you for the service in the war, but we're not entirely certain of that. They are 6-cylinder, 91 horsepower each Thornycroft engines, which when we cruise at about 8-9 knots, the engines run at about 1,000 to 1,100 revs. So very low ticking and relatively low consumption. We have about 600 liters on board, and we have about an autonomy, if we just tick along at about 1,000, 1,100 revs, we have an autonomy of about 50, 60 hours.
All right, thank you for all this information. Can we step on board, please?
Absolutely.
Thank you very much. We follow you.
So these are the reinforced military davits I referred to. The original ones, as you can see on the original pictures, were continuous curve, the same as the anchor davit up front, which is still the original. But these are the reinforced military davits she was given to pick up the torpedoes. Step aboard, please.
Thank you very much.